Did you really think this video is about how I cried to a Pokemon game because of the thumbnail? You know you're really invested in something once you feel emotions from it. These emotions can range from happiness, laughter, anger, confusion, horny if that one counts. However, there is one emotion that I find is the hardest to do, and that is sadness, and more specifically, can it make you cry? If any kind of movie or TV show can make you cry, I find that quite the accomplishment, actually. The fact that something that isn't even real can connect with you on such a personal basis speaks volumes to how much that product means to you. But at the same time, fuck that! Here's a little thing about me. I don't cry at any forms of media. Okay, that's a lie. Some have caught me in the past. Mostly anime. Okay, fine, I do cry, but you'll never find me crying at some stupid video game. Except this one time. God damn it, I'm so inconsistent today. So, this is the glass half full, and today we're talking about my feelings. Now, I feel like I don't speak for everyone here, but for me, it is super hard to cry from a video game. This is not because of my whole analogy of, oh, video games don't need a story, like I've stated before, but it's for a whole slew of other reasons. But it's also how fake a video game tends to be compared to a movie. Like, sure, in the end, both of them are 100% fake. Both movies, at least sad shit, can always look more believable because they have real voice acting or, you know, real people. Even animated movies, when done well, can pull on your heartstrings. But then you look at sad moments from video games and, I'm sorry, but you lose me here. When something like this happens, this can be very emotional, yes, but for me, God, how can I cry when I see a polygon stabbing another polygon? Not to mention how after these cutscenes, the game just goes back to being a game, where you kind of just battle something, receive the next objective, and move on. It's just kind of hard to truly be invested in the sad shit, when in most cases is not the focus of the game. You got that? Good. Okay, time for me to take back literally everything I've just said. Because newsflash, I'm a dumbass. Because for the most part, I mainly play Nintendo games. And outside a select few that I haven't experienced yet, am I even qualified to make this video? Aren't trying to make you cry in any way, shape, or form. Now you may be thinking, did I just clickbait you? No, I didn't, don't worry. That would have been funny though. But seriously, there has been a Nintendo game in the past that not only just made me cry, but really bawled my eyes out. And yeah, it was a Pokemon game. Yeah, I know, I'm a bitch, you don't have to tell me twice. In fact, my phone has already done that. Now you gotta be wondering, which Pokemon game am I talking about exactly? I guess there's been some heart-wrenching moments in the series. Like Cubone's dead mother and N's backstory, to name a few. But no, this does not come from a mainline series game as well. You may be able to see where I'm going with this. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, in my eyes, is the best Pokemon spin-off. Sure, there have been very solid entries in the past, but for me, this one holds a special place in my heart. Wow, look at that! Nostalgia is still a bitch! If you've never heard or played one of these games before, basically you are a human who turns into a Pokemon and you have to kill God with your best friend. However, you don't actually know that your purpose is to kill God, so you have to go about the game being in a rescue team. In said rescue team, you explore dungeons and do certain quests and side quests to progress through the story. These can include rescuing a Pokemon, reuniting a Pokemon, making friends, and at the off chance you get framed for something you didn't do and get exiled from your home and having to run away from the cops so you don't get executed. Like you do. However, during this grandiose adventure, there's a lingering thought in the back of your head that your character has to go home. And whenever you finish up the story, you're gonna leave everyone, and more specifically, your partner, forever. I haven't discussed this partner character yet, but they are basically with you since the start of the game. They are introduced as a weak loner, but they have dreams of being in a rescue team. However, they can't seem to get their feet off the ground due to their own insecurities. But once you join their team, you both grow and get stronger. And even though it's just Pokemon, it's hard not to relate to them, since everyone in some kind of way wants to become bigger and better than the person they are now. But for some, they just can't act on it. However, through connections and dare I say, the power of friendship. I can't believe I just said that. They no longer feel alone and become those better versions of themselves. For such a simple game, it's surprising how well these two characters are written. The game goes above and beyond to show how close you two are through story segments and character dialogue, instead of just telling the player constantly that you two are best friends, like in other stories I've seen in the past. Let's use Trace, the rival from the Pokemon Let's Go games, as a comparison. Not only did they completely butcher the original rival from the Red and Blue games, but this guy always reminds you of how good of friends you are. Oh, look how good of friends we are. Oh, we know each other for so long. Like, cool. But first, you're my rival, so shut up. And secondly, I barely see you during the whole game. How am I supposed to care about you? Was this a good comparison? Sure, maybe. But also, I kind of want to just complain about Trace for a little bit. Like, dude, this partner is with you through everything. Remember when I said there's a part of the story where everyone wants you dead? Yeah, this dude, he came along with you. Even though he hasn't known you for that long at this point, he still comes along with no hesitation, mostly because he has no other friends. But my point still stands. So you physically know that they need you, but they don't know that this friendship isn't gonna last forever. This stuck with me during my whole playthrough. I just kept pondering in the back of my head, wait, am I gonna leave eventually? I mean, sure, it's basically your character's main goal, but come on, it's a silly little kid's game. There's no way it'll end like that. So fast forward to the end where a green bird sends you to heaven so he can beat God, who in this case is a green snake, so he can blow up a star for you, as you usually do. And it's great! You save the world after being mistreated and doubted, but in the end, you're considered a hero. But now it's time to finally go home. Everyone starts to cry and the sad music starts playing. But again, I didn't buy it one bit. Seriously, it's a kid's game. There's no way they're gonna separate the duo. Oh shit, it's actually happening. You know your time has come and you start saying your goodbyes to everyone. And then you see your partner in utter disbelief as to what is happening. Watching his best friend, the Pokemon who literally saved him and went to hell, like seriously, they actually went to hell together, starting to disappear in front of your eyes. At this point, I still don't buy it as my eyes start to get all foggy. No, there's no way. There's gonna be a huge fake out and then you just go. You get lifted into the air and just leave. It's a quiet and somber moment, to say the least, with your little yellow ball of light just ascending out of the Pokemon world. With the final line of the game being, your friend is heartbroken, a friend for life. If you wish strongly, perhaps you'll meet again. Oh, excuse me, as you see, I'm struggling not to cry right now. Obviously. At this point, I'm convinced, and despite all my doubting, Game Freak actually made me believe they were ballsy enough to pull off this ending. And guys, when I say I cried, it wasn't some manly tear, oh my eyes were watering a bit. No, my face was full on red, scrunched up, and it was an ugly cry. I remember it so vividly because I was traumatized. This scene is just heartbreaking. But there's also one specific detail that I left out, because without it, I doubt I would have been this hungover on this scene about. Yeah, I first played this game when I was 7. Yeah, so everything I've just said is true, but it took place like 11 years ago, and I'm more of a dumbass than I am now. My stupid child self was crying at his DS while my parents were watching TV. Now here's the funny thing. My parents noticed my severe depressive state and asked, Are you okay? Just for me to say, Pokemon! What the fuck? And here's the thing. Literally 5 minutes after this scene happens, you go back to the Pokemon world and everything stays the same. You know, like I assumed it would. As I mentioned, it's hard for me to get emotional during video games. But the one time I do, it was a fucking DS game that looks like this. Not saying it's bad, but it kind of destroys my whole point of saying video games look too unrealistic for me to get sad. Wait, what? Look up. What can possibly... Oh, come on! So obviously, after experiencing this tearjerker, I vowed to never cry at a video game ever again. But actually, that's a lie, because I did cry to another video game. Nope, that's also a fucking lie, because I cried to the same game at the exact same moment. Even though I knew what exactly was gonna happen, and I experienced the same thing a couple months prior. But this time, it was at the mall. So, everyone can witness me cry at a Pokemon game. In public. You know, for how dumb this all is, it makes me wonder. Did I cry because of a genuinely well-written and heartfelt scene? Or did I cry because I was a stupid kid? Because as I revisit this game nowadays, I can still tell it has lots of charm and a pretty engaging story. However, when I compare it to other games with sad moments, or other entries in the series honestly, it falls flat in a lot of ways. So then I go, oh, then I was just an emotional child. But then that's also wrong, because I just didn't cry that often. I haven't really come to a concrete solution, but I think part of the answer just involves my love for Pokemon, even back then. So I guess that could be the same for everyone else and their designated love for Harry Potter, Star Wars. Yeah, even the fucking Muppets. Yeah, even you guys can cry all you want for that. I probably won't judge you that much. So yeah, not a lot of stuff makes me cry. But god damn it, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is one of them. You know, a wise man once told me that you've never lived until you've cried at a Pokemon game. And that man was me. I told myself that. In all honesty, I think it's good to talk about these emotions like this, because even though movies, TV shows, and video games aren't real, the emotions are, and can touch your heart in ways you can never imagine. And overall, I feel like a stronger Oh, sorry, I'm getting a notification. Are you kidding me?